Rapapapa, ching, 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 ching. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to this 87th episode of the Pre-Market Show. Today is Friday, the 20th of February, 2026. It is currently 1:29 GMT, and we have some data that is coming out of the US in the form of PCE. It's going to drop any minute now. We also have GDP. It's all happening. It's all about to be released in a matter of seconds here. And in the meantime, we're going to put on some music because I'm thinking of changing the name to the trading DJ or the DJ trader. I don't know how that's going to work, but we're still working with the name. It's a working title. Here we go. So PCE coming out of the US, breaking news. This is breaking news here. Make sure if you are in the live chat, make sure that you smash the like button, and then also make sure that you're commenting. If you have any questions, anything you're trading today, make sure you let us know. So breaking news right now, getting some PCE out of the US along with GDP. Here we go. All right. Hey, Rohan, welcome back, Rohan. Nice to have you back on the show. Rohan was our winner yesterday, winning a $5,000 account courtesy of City Traders Imperium. So it looks like we got the data here. Let's take a quick look. This is breaking news. So this is as we proceed to give you what you need. We're gonna just dissect this really quickly. So it looks like we got core PCE month over month. Came in a little bit higher than expected, year over year, higher than expected. GDP growth quarter over quarter, lower than expected. Quarter over quarter, price index was higher than expected. Let's have a look at the personal income was in line, and month over month was in line for personal income. Let's have a look at how markets are responding here. Not really a major reaction as of yet. So, all right. So, looks like a little bit of softness here in S&P, NASDAQ as well, a little softer. So we're going to talk a bit about catalysts. We touched on them yesterday. And catalysts are like the spark that sets the market alight, gives us that nice little move that we like to trade on. So markets are either going higher, lower, or nowhere. And for the most part, over the last few trading sessions, they haven't gone very far. So we're looking here at a NASDAQ that's weakening. Very interesting to see if this holds here. All right. Very interesting. Some weakness. So gold as well, seeing some weakness in gold. WTI, oil not really moving too much. Let's have a look at the dollar index. We like to try and compare or look at correlations. Dollar's a little firmer here. So initial reactions. Remember, we've only had 2 minutes and 40 seconds for the markets to digest this data. And usually you will get a bit of knee-jerk reactions, a little bit of algorithms trying to figure out exactly how to price this data, this new piece of information. And that's why we like to wait. I know a few prop firms, depending on the type of account you have, they do allow you to trade during news events, and some do not allow you to trade during news events. So looks like GDP quarter over quarter was 1.4% versus 2.8 forecast. I think that might be a headline. Weaker GDP here on a Friday, and weakness is what we're seeing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tee up some trades. Let's see, we weren't actually planning to trade today, but if this move continues, I don't see why not. You're watching the Pre-Market Show, and we just got PCE out of the US, and risk assets look like they're cooling off a little bit. The US dollar is a little bit higher as a result of the data that we got. And let's see if this can continue. So we're near the lows of the pre-market. essentially, both in S&P and in the nasty NASDAQ. Just an update. I see some messages here about Andrew. So at the moment, Andrew is doing some traveling. And so he may join us. We'll see. Yeah, he is doing some Mr. Worldwide type stuff. So the plan is for Andrew to join us next week on the Friday version of the pre-market show. But for today, he is doing some traveling over there in, I want to say Eastern Europe, Western Europe. Western Europe is where he's at. Good morning. Looks like we got Asha here. Asha, welcome to the office. Make sure you checked in. Salutations and greetings to you on this Friday the 20th. It's also OPEX Day, Options Expiration Day. So happy OPEX. Yeah, hopefully your day is going well. Let us know if you are doing any trading today. If you are looking at anything in particular, feel free to send us a message and let us know. That would be good to know. All right, let's see who we got over there in CTI land. And what we'll do also is we'll send out the link so that you can all join or enter the prize giveaway. All right, so it looks like we got Haorun awaiting in the live chat. Haydar, good afternoon to you, Haydar. Mark Juari. Enoch is here. Welcome back, Enoch. Nice to see you back. And a question here from Haydar. My name is Haydar. I buy an account, from CTI and passed the account. I lost the account and I'll never forget this time. Okay, so we can talk a little bit about management and being able to kind of keep up with the accounts and making sure that you are able to maintain the account once you get it. So thank you very much. And looks like Mark is saying, let's go. Hasn't Tech Web, welcome from all the way from Ghana. So nice to have you here on the show. Make sure that you have checked in and you've gotten your nice warm beverage, whether it's tea, coffee, whatever you like to drink. And buckle up. We got a good show for you today. Okay. Looks like Tesla is on the radar for Asha today. So we can have a look at Tesla in a little bit. But yeah, this is interesting here to me. I feel like there's some weakness here in the S&P and in the NASDAQ after this data. So what we're going to do is we're just going to track this. Please let me know if the music is too loud. Let me know. Just got a quick message saying the music is a little loud. We're trying to keep the energy flowing, keep the positive vibes going on this Friday the 20th of Feb. Okay. All right, I'm gonna let's take my camera down. You guys know what I look like, right? There we go. All right, now we're talking. So thank you, Asha, for letting us know that you're looking at Tesla. I think Tesla has been kind of going sideways, if I'm not mistaken, for the last few days. You can pull up a chart in a second. See how it's moving today. Okay, so PCE came out. It looked like GDP was a bit of a surprise. Gross domestic product came out a little bit worse than expected. Or, yeah, a lot worse than expected, to be fair. So let's see here. Gonna go to Old Faithful here. And what do we got? Let's break it down. Okay. So we just got that slew of data here out of the US. So core retail sales, that was Canada. We got advanced GDP. Expected was 2.8. And it came out soft. 1.4. That's a big miss. Core PCE was better than expected, so that's good. Advanced GDP price index quarter over quarter, that was fine. Better than expected. Personal income was in line, and then personal spending was in line. So the only real one here that I think is kind of a bit worrisome is the advanced GDP quarter over quarter was considerably lower than expected. So we'll have to see. We also have flash PMIs coming out in about an hour's time. That includes a speech by Bostic from the Federal Reserve. Got new home sales at the top of the hour, to an hour and 15 minutes. And our favorite, one of our favorites, consumer sentiment. That's coming out at after the first 30 minutes after the New York Open. New home sales was delayed. This was actually delayed by the government shutdown. So we'll be getting that as well. And then we have Logan speaking later. So let's talk a little bit about the catalysts that we're preparing for coming up. So the catalyst that we're looking at. So the first catalyst is today. Potential catalyst is today. We get the Supreme Court that may or may not decide on Trump's tariffs. They've already given us 3 strikes. 3 times they said they may announce their decision, and 3 times in a row they have not included their decision for the Trump tariff. So today could be the day. I think we've talked about this quite a bit. It's when the least amount of people are expecting it, and there's the least amount of coverage, and it's the least amount of expectation for it to happen is when I think it's going to happen. So that's today. Believe they're due to announce 1 hour after markets open in New York, or an hour and a half. The second piece of catalyst that we're kind of preparing for is OPEX. So today is OPEX day. OPEX day is when options expire, the monthly options expire. So you got your single stocks. So your Teslas, like Asho's trading Tesla here. So her Tesla monthly options for February, those expire today. Your Nvidia's. We'll talk a bit about Nvidia earnings, which Nvidia's announcing earnings next week, Wednesday, which is the 25th of January after the close. That's a big catalyst as well. So those will be expiring. The February options are going to be expiring today. You also have your index. So your index options expiring today as well. So S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, all expiring today. And then you also get your ETFs. So the ETF options for your gold position, your silver position, your oil ETF, energy ETF, XLE, those will also expire. So it ends up being like trillions and trillions of contracts of options expiring today. And so what we've done is we've back tested and we've looked to see how do markets move, how do prices move on the day of expiration. And it's always the 3rd Friday of the month, unless it falls on a bank holiday or a day when the markets are closed. So I think the most important thing is to be aware of it. So it's every month, it's always the 3rd Friday, and you kind of get some sporadic moves. You have to factor in a larger amount of volume, because those monthly options are either going to expire worthless or they're going to expire in the money. And so it's a lot of management by dealers and market makers in the final day of trading. So keep an eye out on that. That's the catalyst for today. Over the weekend, we talked about this a lot yesterday. Usually the weekend is when we get escalations or we get bad news. So this weekend could also, we could see some shots fired or some attacks, some strikes in the Middle East over the weekend. They usually more than not happen after markets close in New York on Friday. And we go back to the dropping of bombs on the Iranian nuclear site in Iran. That was in the early hours of Sunday morning, so late Saturday night. That attack happened. So the reason for that is because if given a choice between when do you want to escalate or start a war, usually they will decide, leaders will decide to do it when the financial markets are closed, and that's just a track record that I think continues, a precedent that continues. The other catalyst that we have for next week is we have the State of the Union address on Tuesday. That's going to be at 9 p.m. and that's the 24th of February. And then following that, we have NVIDIA earnings. So NVIDIA earnings are going to be on Wednesday after the close. Interesting to kind of pick up on how NVIDIA's moved over the last month and a half, I guess you could say, since the start of the year. NVIDIA's really interesting, very interesting. So let's make that white. So this is NVIDIA here. This was pretty much the start of 2026, and NVIDIA hasn't gone anywhere. So it would be interesting to see on the 25th, after they announce their earnings, how does the price move? It's been fairly narrow range bound. If we draw a little rectangle, where is it? There we go. So it's kind of been stuck in there. And, you know, people always say think outside the box. I think if it's going to be any time when we get a move outside of this sort of tight range, is probably going to be after NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday. So let's look at what has been doing really well. This is energy, the energy ETF, XLE, X-Ray Lima Echo. That's up 22% since the start of the year. The SMH is the semiconductors. So that is including NVIDIA. So semiconductors are doing well, despite NVIDIA being more or less unchanged for the year. Semiconductors are up somewhere close to 12% on the year. And then down here, this little green line, little green line that's the Mag 7, which also includes NVIDIA. And as you can see, that's down more than 7% for the year. So I think going into NVIDIA earnings, these catalysts are kind of building up towards that point. But I think any one of those could potentially give us a bit of a spark, a bright spark, and produce some momentum over the next few days. So being aware of them, I think, is key, number one. And then also positioning yourselves accordingly. For example, if there is some escalation over the weekend in the Middle East, we could see some volatility in the likes of XLE, energy sector moving quite substantially to the upside. Also, historically, we've seen the US dollar tends to strengthen. So maybe there could be some pre-positioning today in advance of what could be an unknown weekend event. And then, you know, you kind of put your best foot forward and position yourself as best as you can, and then let the market do what it's going to do anyway. All right, so let's send out the link. So I'm going to send the link now for anybody who is interested in joining the free account giveaway, the prize giveaway. Here we go. So it's $5,000 going out to one lucky winner. And if you'd like to enter, have a look in the live chat, and there will be a, let's see here. I'll do it. I'll show you what I'm doing here. So it is the Friday one. There we go. The link is here. Okay. So have a look in the live chat, and I'll just say enter for prize giveaway here. Cool. All right. So yeah, if you are interested in a $5,000 account, the link is in the live chat. Okay. Also a reminder, if you do enter, you can only do one per person. You can only win once every month, and you make sure that you post on your X or your Insta. Make sure to tag us and City Traders Imperium, and then you will get contacted after that. So we're seeing this weakness here. And I mean, I'll probably look at this later on today and say this was a great opportunity to kind of get short or get puts here. There is a lot of talk about this 6,800 price on the S&P, but I mean, we can go through some other charts as well. We can have a look at the movements in gold. We can have a look at the movements in oil. But yeah, this sort of low here, this would have been the low of 2026. If you zoom out a little bit, is that right? Sorry, this is the low of 2026. But it's definitely been a little bit of a tight and narrow range that we've seen since the start of the year. Here we go. That's it. That's what we're looking for. So started the year more or less here. This was New Year's Eve. And from New Year's Eve, we've stayed pretty much below 7,000 and above 6,750. So what we're waiting for is one of those catalysts that we just listed off to give us a boost, a momentum boost of liquidity, and to push us either higher or lower. Now let's have a look at some charts here. If you have any requests for any charts, let us know. I know we've gotten a mention about Tesla. Let's see here. Gold looks like it's making a little bit of a move here to the upside. So this is gold here. Maybe we take a quick look at gold first. And I do wonder if this is based off of that news that we just got about the GDP. Gold is here. There we go. So yeah, so we can take this one out. There we go. Okay. So we hit the all-time high back on 28th of Jan. We had that big liquidity moment. Everybody was messaging saying, have you seen the crash in gold? And that got bought pretty quickly back towards this 5,000. So 5,000 has been a bit of a line in the sand for us. And we've been kind of slowly trickling higher here. So yesterday, we got some comments during yesterday's show, people trying to short this. And I don't know. I'm looking at a potential move in gold, especially taking into consideration what is unknown as of right now for the weekend, and also where the positioning is. So the commercials are positioned to the long side in gold. So that's something that we're also being going to be very conscious of. So that's our basic sort of approach here is if gold can stay above 5,000, then we want to be long. And the longer it stays above 5,000, the more long we want to get. I think targets would be back above 5,300. And then ultimately, we're looking to target the all-time highs again. So more or less a resumption of what we saw to start the year back in January to the end of, more or less the end of January, resuming. And I think the narrative hasn't really changed. The positioning in the commitment of traders hasn't really changed. And we see central banks buying. Those sorts of things have not changed. And that's what's keeping us very much on the long side, long-minded in gold here. So if we look here, the lows as well, this was bought back in February 1st. This was bought on the 5th. And then this was bought again on the 17th. And we're getting higher and higher lows. So yeah, in summary, if we can maintain above 5,000 here in gold, I think that's a very good sign. And we're gonna just keep watching that as it unfolds. Okay. We had mention of oil, so we'll pull up the oil chart here. Okay. Cool. So oil's also doing well. We spoke about the XLE as one of the bigger, better performers for this year. And there's different ways that you can get exposure to oil. There's Brent. There is also oil companies that you can go through. We've talked about these, the ETFs as well. Just a reminder that OPEX is today. So any ETFs that you have, monthly ETFs, will be expiring at the close today. But yeah, we hit a new high in oil. That would have been yesterday. If we go back, that would be a 202-day high in the black gold. So it's just something I think we can't ignore it. Last year, it was one of the worst performers, if not the worst performer of 2025. It was, it just didn't do anything last year. And now all of a sudden, we got the news about Venezuela, and now things heating up over in Iran, and we're seeing energy start to wake up again. So let's keep a close eye on this one. I do think there could be some volatility going into the close today, in preparation for what could be a surprise escalation over the weekend. Let's see. All right, we got a comment here from Isildur. Can you take a look at cocoa price chart too, please? Sure, absolutely. All right, so let's see if we can pull up. Let's do it here. So that's the good thing, I guess, about doing these shows live, is that we can still look at things that we normally wouldn't look at. We do have the ability to also bring on other traders. So we are planning to bring on a trader every month, and that's based off of the feedback that you've provided us. And we do feel that, being able to have different perspectives, different charts, different asset classes actually adds a lot to the experience. So here we go. This is cocoa futures. I like hot chocolate. Never really traded this much. But if we look at cocoa, it is, wow. Okay. It's in a downtrend. That's for sure. Looks like it hit a high here. That was December 2024. It was above 12,000. And right now it is diving, approaching 3,000. So very, very, very interesting chart. I'll be the first to say I'm not a cocoa expert. I do like to use cocoa butter, and I am a big believer in hot cocoa. But in terms of trading the futures, I got to be honest, I haven't actually traded the futures before for cocoa or any cocoa ETFs. But yeah, this looks pretty bearish to me. So if you would have been short cocoa at any point over the last 2 years, over the last year and a half, you would be up. I mean, we haven't gotten back to this low, so we're at a low that we haven't seen pretty much since July 2023. Yeah. So pretty abysmal. Yeah, I don't know if many prop firms allow you to trade cocoa, but yeah, interesting chart. Interesting to see the moves. I will have to do a little bit more of a deep dive on cocoa myself to get a full perspective on it. But just looking at that chart, it just doesn't look nice. I mean, it looks worse than Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks bad, but not that bad. Thanks, Isildur. Thank you for bringing that to our attention today. So we're going to do the live giveaway, the prize giveaway. If you are considering entering, please do so now because we are going to do the prize giveaway. Then we're going to get ready for the New York Open and prepared to trade. So this is your last opportunity to enter. The link is in the description. And once we have the last entries, we will then do the live prize giveaway. Okay, few other things that we were talking about. So there were some interesting earnings over the last few days. We didn't decide to trade earnings, and I think the topic for today was trading psychology, and that's something that I think doesn't get enough attention when you're trading your own account, whether you're trading for yourself, whether you are using a prop firm or you're using your own capital. Having the right psychology and having the right tools and the most useful methods, I think, is one of the most important things. I think the focus tends to be on the entry, the exit, the profits, the thesis, but behind all of that, I think you would find it very, 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 very difficult to be successful if you don't have the right psychology. So what we'll do is, I think we're going to have to extend this over to the next show, because I think we need to put a little bit more time into the importance of trading psychology and the techniques that we use and that we also try and share with our community to help to ensure that you can withstand a lot of the emotions and a lot of just a lot of I guess the most important thing is being able to survive for the long term. And if you have the right tools, then you can persevere and you can succeed at this. So what we'll do next week is we'll spend a little bit more time going through the trading psychology. What I find works for me may not work for you at all because of the type of person you are, your personality, your background, where you're from, your upbringing, all those things come into play when we're talking about having the trading psychology and having the methods that are right for you. So next show, we will start off with trading psychology, but I just wanted to kind of put it out there as something that I think doesn't get enough attention. And when you have the right psychology, then you're setting yourself up for success. Okay. So we got a few entries here. Let's see, how many entries do we have? Okay. Looking good. All right, so no more entries. No more entries, please. I'm going to quickly put everybody's name here. Okay. All right, thank you everybody who has joined and everybody who has entered the competition. We're going to do a drum roll, please, and the winner of this will receive a $5,000 account courtesy of City Traders Imperium. All right, let's do, can we get the drum roll, please? Thank you. And the winner of the $5,000 CTI account is Thanos. Congratulations, Thanos. Well done. Brilliant work. So you will receive an email once you've posted that you've won. And congratulations. All the best to you. And please let us know about your how your account management goes. We'll be keen to find out how you do over the next few days. But congratulations to Thanos. And also thank you to everybody who has joined and who entered. We do these shows each and every Thursday and Friday. But I want to say a special thank you to everybody who is watching today. I know we're all busy. We all have lots of things to do. And it really means a lot to have you joining us today. We had Asha in the live chat. Asha was looking at Tesla. So let's have a look at Tesla, everyone. we said we were going to look at it, so let's look at it. Here we go. Oh, interesting to see cocoa futures perking up a little bit. So that's maybe that's why it was mentioned by Isildur. Okay. We'll go back to our chart and then we'll do Tesla. Here we go. And okay, there we go. So pre-market, not much going on. Let's see, year to date, Tesla's down from the start of the year, down about 10%. Over the last 12 months, Tesla is up 16%. So interesting to watch. Definitely, I think Elon Musk is always coming up with something fun. So I know a lot of traders either love or hate Tesla, but from a purely investment trading perspective, looks like it's pretty much following the Mag 7 lower to start the year. So there's always potential catalysts in the future. We know there is talk about SpaceX IPOing. So whether or not that impacts Tesla, we'll have to see. And there was also some statistics on the growth ratios of Tesla at the start of the year. So let's keep an eye out on that. And then we had a message from Isildur. So we were able to have a nice look at the cocoa charts. So thank you for mentioning that. Over in CTI land, we have messages from Hadar. We also have messages from Mark. Enoch is also present today. Mir Sabir, haven't heard from Mir Sabir for a while. SP King is back. Nice to have you back in the office. Looks like Hadar's buying NASDAQ today. So potentially buying the dip. We also have Market is Crazy. Your view on gold. Yeah, we covered gold earlier. We talked about that key 5,000 price. And going into the catalysts over the next few days is going to be key to see how gold performs. And then we have Hasn't Tech Web. Also Starboy. Starboy's back. I haven't seen Starboy for a little while. And Orion BT. Looks like the question here is, do you trade nano caps? I do not, unfortunately. But what we could do is we could bring on someone who does. So one of the things that we do each and every month is we bring on a trader who is successful and we pick their brain and we get some insights from them. So maybe you give me some homework. So I'll do some homework and see if I can find somebody who does nano caps. Question was from Orion BT. Thanks, everybody. That's it. That's the show for today. We got about 20 minutes or so to prepare for the New York Open today. If you are trading today, remember, it is Capital Preservation Friday. Capital Preservation Friday means number one rule is preserve capital today. Do not blow up an account. Do not give away all your profits from Monday and Thursday. That's my message to you today. And that's it. That's it, I think. Yeah, if you want to reach out to us, feel free. We are going to be doing a live event in London. So have a look in the description to this video. The event will be taking place on May the 1st. And what I'll do is, let me get the actual information for you. Because I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to mention this. Here we go. Okay. All right, everybody. I got my son here. Say hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. You know you're going over when your son's back in the house. So yeah, we'll provide the information for you all, but May 1st, we'll put it in the description. So have a look in the description to this video. You want to tell everybody happy, you can say happy trading, everybody.
Happy trading, everybody, and have a nice day.